show you how to repair a star BM pistol. Now there's a big common issue with most of these. Most people I've spoke to has had the same issue. So I picked this pistol up and it already had the problem going on. But most of these has got a problem right here in the lever that locks the slide back. A lot of times they don't work and the slide won't lock. So I'm going to explain how to solve this issue if you have one and it's having the same kind of problems. This one I had to repair, and so what we started out with is there was a small roll pin right here. This roll pin had to be removed in order to get to this plunger here. And what the problem was is from the factory, this plunger that connects to this piece right here was actually polished off too short, so it wasn't making contact with this stub here that holds this pin. And this roll pin's pretty stubborn to get out, so when you go to repair this, usually these roll pins, they're just so small that usually they're pretty much stuck in there, and they're pretty much unusable after you get them out. So the way to solve this, now this little piece here on mine was chewed up because somebody thought it was this piece that was causing the problem. They took it out so many times and chewed it off with a pair of pliers that it was all messed up. So I had to find this piece here. But other than that, the rest of it I made myself. So what I had to do is I had to machine down a pin to go into inside this lever to hold this plunger inside here. And what I did is I cut a hardened steel nail down, made a pin that would fit real tightly in there, and then I remachined the plunger. Had another plunger cut, and this time I had one made a little bit longer, and then I rounded the end of it off so it'll fit inside this groove right here. And that is how you solve that problem. Now, as far as I know, you can't get these plungers or these pins, at least as far as I know, but maybe if you live in a larger town or something where there's more places or something, or you may be able to order them online. But I have not found any places to get these small pins and these plungers, so I had to machine my own. But after I machined my own and hardened them and tempered them and put them in, then it started working again. But you can see you got a polished follower here in the magazine, and it makes contact with this lever and pushes it up. So this is generally the problem with the Star BMs that I see that happens the most. It's usually these plungers right here going bad. Sometimes they're either wore out or sometimes they're just polished too short from the factory, I think. But that is how I solved the issue with that. And now it locks back on the last shell. But it seems to function a lot better with a solid pin here than a roll pin. The roll pin seems to bend real easy because there is a lot of spring pressure, and there's a lot of pressure going on this pin right here coming back from this plunger, and it's a very small piece, so you're going to have a lot of hard times keeping that little tiny roll pin from marring up. So a solid pin is the best way to go. It's making a solid pin to go through there. The plunger, I cut it to where it would be long enough and then polished the end of it to where it would slide inside that groove. And I left it polished, unblued, and that's the way to solve that issue. And just reuse your old lever that's already fitted to the gun, and that's the only way that I've found to solving this problem. Some of these has sight issues on the back. The sight comes out, I don't know if they're just pressed in very softly or if the metal's kind of soft. And most people will glue these back in with super glue once they get them to the spot where they need them, and that seems to fix the rear sight. That's the main two issues with a Star BM that I've found, but other than that, they work excellent. So if you have either one of those problems, that is the solution to solving that.